Did you know that before you can learn how to read with your eyes, you really need to focus on what you hear with your ears? Something called phonological awareness, and I'm going to explain it to you right now. Phonological awareness refers to the ability to hear and manipulate sounds in speech. It involves slowly moving from hearing a full word and then slowly breaking that word down into the smaller and smaller parts of speech, and you do this through rhymes and practice and listening games. It should be pretty fun. Phonological awareness is fundamentally a very fun thing for children to learn. Ultimately, you should be able to learn phonological awareness with your eyes closed. There's no reason to use your eyes. It's just about developing a child's ability to play with sounds in words, becoming aware of the sounds in words, which is a pretty critical step in becoming a proficient reader and writer. A child's level of phonological awareness is a strong predictor of their readiness to learn how to read words. When a child can hear and manipulate sounds in words, they're better prepared to decode words later on. This is something that maybe 3 and 4-year-olds would do. Phonological awareness is about more than just reading. It's really also about spelling and writing. If you can imagine that a child who can hear sounds in words probably can hear a word that they've never seen before and then decode it. They can sound it out and write it out. So this is a significant predictor also for writing ability. So if you're a teacher or an adult working with a child, you're probably wondering, like, what do I do to help my child develop phonological awareness? And this is actually very important because you do actually have to teach a child phonological awareness. They won't get it on their own, generally speaking, although it might seem as if they get it on their own when they're working with a parent who likes to, say, sing fun songs or talk about nursery rhymes or do rhyming activities. Children develop their own sense of awareness of sound just through those kind of fun activities. But if you don't have these activities happening in your home already, or you have a child in your classroom whose parents don't actually play these kind of games with their kids, then you want to do it in the classroom. And this will develop a child's ability to hear sounds and words. Rhyming is especially helpful, but there are other little activities that you can do during the day that help children hear a sound in a word. How do you teach phonological awareness? So the goal of phonological awareness is actually phonemic awareness, but you want to start where the child has an ability. So if a child can discern words that are different, but not like the first sound in a word, then that's where you want to start. Start at the word level and gradually work yourself down to the goal, which is phonemic awareness, which is a small sound. When you're teaching phonological awareness, you want to go from really easy activities to slightly harder, gradually more difficult activities. So the first thing you want to do is have them identify what they hear. Next, you want to have them kind of blend, use what they hear. And then finally, you want them to take apart what they hear. So let's see what that looks like on the word level, which is what we're talking about now. Let's take the word rainbow. You can ask them, how many words do you hear when I say the word rainbow? The answer is 2. Then you can say, what is the word that we get when we put rain and bow together? The answer, of course, is rainbow. And then what is rainbow without rain? Or what is rainbow without bow? They should be able to say the word. So you see how we went from identifying to blending to taking apart. That's the usual sequence of activities that will allow a child to very easily move from one level of skill to another at the word level. And as soon as they've mastered that at the word level, you kind of don't have to stay there anymore because the goal is not the word, the goal is the phoneme. So as soon as you see them kind of effectively blending, frankly, or even a little bit of taking apart, just move on, or else they might get bored and kind of start to resist. You want to keep them curious and interested in this listening activity. Remember that. Some activities that you use can be at the word level, can be like words and sentences. How many words do you hear when I say, I like pie? 3 words. So that's one. And then the second thing is words within words like rainbow or baseball or other words. There are some resources that I've put in the description that give you lists of words that you can use with this activity. The best kind of instruction that you can do with phonological awareness is to model it first very, very carefully. The usual sequence is I'll do it, then we do it together, and then you try to do it on your own. You want to talk through what you're doing. So you do this kind of self-talk activity that allows the child to hear what's going on in your mind. And I think probably the most important part here is you want to have fun with it. I mean, really, it shouldn't be a chore. It should be kind of fun. Be a little bit silly. You're working with sounds, you can be super silly. You can work with sounds that don't actually make words. What's nincompoop without the nincom? It's poop. And I gotta tell you, like, kids are gonna wanna say poop. It's important to know that hearing sounds takes practice, especially with kids who have never done this before. You'll probably have a mix in your classroom where you have some kids whose parents read to them or play nursery rhymes, or they have some other experience with nursery rhymes or rhyming. And then you'll have some kids who really don't talk a lot with their parents at home. If you're a parent who isn't conversing a lot with their child, a good way to start, honestly, is just to play with nursery rhymes. It's very, very easy, and it's a really pretty powerful thing for them to learn to do with you. Here are a couple of activities that will help you with identifying words in a sentence. First one could be move some markers. So here's some markers here, and you can say, move a marker for how many words you hear in this sentence. The man came home. They should say, the man came home. That's the activity. That's a good one. Another activity that you can do, which is more physical, is you can have the children move or hop or skip or tap their heads for the number of words that they hear in a sentence. You might say, tap your head for every time you hear a word in a sentence. My house is big. My house is big. Or how about this sentence? You make me laugh. That's a good one. Now, here's a couple for blending. Just ask the children, listen to what I say and put the words together, okay? What word do you hear me say when I say birth? Day. Give them some time between. Give them a couple seconds. You can also do a picture match. Here you can see that there are two pictures and they both represent one word that creates a compound word. So in this picture match, we have basket and ball. What's the word that you hear when you put these pictures together? And of course you don't show them the letters. Or rainbow. Or here's a segmentation example, big to little. What you see in these little boxes are where they would put their markers. So the children put a marker for each word that they hear in the picture. So flash, light, airplane, snowman. Segmenting is a little bit of a challenge, and it's maybe more than you really have to focus on, because if a child can blend at the word level, you might just move on to initial sounds and words. So don't get hung up on a child's inability to do segmenting at this level. But if you want to do segmenting and they're having a lot of fun, then you can say, here's a word, airplane. What's that word without the word plane? And you can say air. But if they can't do it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just move on if they can blend.